Lately I've been thinking a lot about that one last Smash fighter still to be announced. It's in a way sad that once we finally get this announcement, there will be no more speculation and discussion around characters that should be added to Ultimate's roster. No more community discussions, leaks and rumors, Smash Directs, or Sakurai Presents. The reveal of the last fighter will effectively halt the Smash speculation community in its tracks for the time being. And if the Smash series does not continue after Ultimate, that means that this is the last Smash roster hype cycle for good. That being said, I've been thinking really hard about what characters would truly satisfy me if they ended up being revealed for this last spot. Who would I look at and say, okay, now that's a fitting conclusion? And to be honest, there are only a few characters that truly hit this mark for me. And one of these characters would be a newcomer from the Legend of Zelda series, Impa, complete with her design from the game Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Now, not only do I really want to see Impa join the Smash roster, I think there's also some pretty good evidence supporting her inclusion. In this video, I'm going to explore several points that I think are important when considering Impa's chances at grabbing the final invitation envelope for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As we all know, Fighters Pass 1 ended with Byleth, who is a first-party character from a game that was released only a short time before. When thinking about it in this way, Impa is the same kind of character, a first-party choice that's relevant to Nintendo's recent and future releases. If Fighters Pass Volume 2 is going to end in a similar way to Fighters Pass 1, then that means it will end on a first-party character. As far as first-party characters go, Impa's one of the most realistic choices. Plus, like Byleth, she's from a series that's already represented in Smash, yet an important character in her own right. Looking at it this way, and using Fighters Pass 1 as an example to inform the potential final character choice for Fighters Pass 2, Impa falls right in line with this theory. Another important aspect not to overlook is the fact that Impa is a new character from the Legend of Zelda series. Zelda is one of Nintendo's most popular, important, and successful franchises, period. If you look at the current roster of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, there really isn't all that much new Zelda content. Of course, Link was updated to reflect his Breath of the Wild design, and his moveset was updated to include several elements from that game. Plus, Zelda was upgraded to reflect her A Link Between Worlds design. But in terms of new characters, the Zelda series has always been surprisingly light on characters who are true newcomers. Looking back at the history of Smash newcomers, the last game where we got any new playable representation from the Zelda series is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where Toon Link was introduced as a new fighter. However, Toon Link is really just an alternate form of Link, an existing character. We have to go all the way back to Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube, which I just saw turn 20 years old, for the last brand new character edition from the Zelda series that wasn't a derivative character. Melee introduced both Princess Zelda and Ganondorf to the fighter roster, which are, shockingly, the most recent all-new fighter editions from the Zelda series. That's pretty wild to think about, considering we all know how important of a series Zelda is, but most of us were either very young or not even born yet when this actually occurred. How can a series this popular and important to the industry have so few new additions to the fighter roster? Some part of me thinks that there's no way we won't get at least one more Zelda representative in Super Smash Bros. Before it's all said and done. If this truly is the last character, last content update, and possibly last Smash game for a very long time, doesn't it make sense to add a Zelda rep like Impa to the roster? It's certainly been a long time coming. Looking back at Fighters Pass 1, which again ended with Byleth, I noticed that they are a character from an already highly represented first-party franchise. Also, they featured prominently in a title that had been recently released, commercially successful, and relevant enough that there was high potential for future titles from that series in the near future. Notice that all of these things I just said for Byleth can also apply to Impa. Impa featured in 2020's successful Zelda spin-off, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. She's a character accessible from the very beginning of that game, and played a big role in the overall quest. Something tells me we're not quite done with this character in her brand new design. I think Impa, and specifically this design of Impa, has a high chance of returning again in the future. First of all, Age of Calamity has one more announced DLC update coming later this year. Even if she does not feature prominently in that DLC, it's still a reprising of a title she's heavily featured in. This alone makes her relevant when looking at upcoming Nintendo software releases. And Age of Calamity is not the only bit of software that she might feature in the future. One of, if not the biggest game Nintendo is working on to release hopefully in the next year, is the follow-up to 2017's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, what we're currently calling Breath of the Wild 2. We still don't really know what time period or periods this game will be set in, so there is a chance that we will encounter this very same form of Impa in that highly anticipated mainline Zelda title. Say in the next hypothetical Nintendo Direct, we get a trailer showing more of Breath of the Wild 2, and then this form of Impa is announced as playable in Smash. Maybe it's a pipe dream, but how hype would that be? A cool looking new female character, and finally some more representation for the Zelda series, which hasn't had any true newcomers in a very long time. The Zelda series is teeming with life and potential right now. I mean, really, when is it not? But with Age of Calamity DLC right around the corner, Impa herself featuring in Skyward Sword HD, which is still fresh on my mind despite this Impa being a different design, and Breath of the Wild 2 slated to arrive before the end of next year, the iron is pretty hot in terms of all things Zelda. Not to mention, it's the freaking 35th anniversary of the series, and as it looks right now, it's getting way less fanfare than its slightly older and more successful brother, Mario. Mario had an entire Nintendo Direct last summer devoted to his 35th, and even got a brand new collection of classic games announced for the Nintendo Switch. Maybe adding Impa to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate could be Nintendo's way of celebrating Zelda in a smaller, yet still meaningful fashion. It just seems a little bit odd Nintendo isn't pulling out all the stops for Zelda 35, and it makes me think there's a little bit of something up their sleeve. Even if Aonuma himself said there wouldn't be any new games for the anniversary, he never said that there would be no new updates to existing games. In my mind, Impa is the Zelda character that has the best shot at actually becoming a playable fighter, and her addition would be a great way to commemorate the series on its anniversary, plus giving it a little more much needed representation in Smash. Her inclusion probably wouldn't blow the minds of the gaming community at large, but a first party heavy hitter like Impa to me would be an ideal way to end the pass. I think the way the last Fighters Pass ended, the current lack of new Zelda fighters in Smash, recent and future game releases, and the Zelda series 35th anniversary all support the idea that Impa makes a lot of sense for that last slot on the Ultimate Fighter roster. She is one of my top choices overall, and I sincerely hope her inclusion happens. Let me know what you guys think about this idea down in the comments. Is she suitable for a playable role in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Do you think this evidence supports the theory that the last fighter could be Impa? Which Impa design is your favorite? Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you think there are other characters better suited for this last DLC spot. I'm excited to see who this character is at the final reveal, and fingers crossed we'll get something this month. In the meantime, subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest discussion topics, and keep it here for more quality Nintendo content.